Hi, this is Darnell at Whale Recipes, and this is my 30-day review of the Chefman TurboFry Dual Basket Air Fryer. And I want to say, if you have not already seen it, please check out the initial review of this cooker. That's where I do all the measurements, specs, test cooks, show how to use it, show it side by side with other cookers. Everything that you probably want to know if you don't already know it, as far as just how to generally use the cooker and its size and how hot it gets and all of that is all in the initial review. So check that out there. This is a 30-day follow-up where I just talk to you about my thoughts, impressions, and experiences with the cooker and talk about how I just feel it might compare to a few other things, and I leave it there. But generally speaking, this particular cooker, for me, it's just got too many quirks. I will say, if you you really have an interest in it, if you get it on a good sale, if you get it on a good sale, cool. But for me, it's got a number of quirks. I personally wouldn't say, get it at the highest full price. If you can get it at a good sale, cool. But the quirks I'm going to talk about some just made me not really enjoy it as much as some others. And so I'll talk about some of that. Basically, the display is the first issue that I have with it. The display, when you first plug it in, the display doesn't turn off until you actually do a cook, and that cook ends, is what I found. Basically, it'll just stay on. I've made a whole video about how to get displays to turn off on cookers, and typically, you can just leave a cooker setting for a while, and the display will turn off. Well, this one, initially, it's just going to stay on. Even if you do a cook and you hit the stop button, the cancel button in the middle of a cook, and you don't start that cook again, it just stays on. But if you finish a cook, then it'll turn off after some time. After you finish that cook, you might have to let it set like 30 minutes or something. But eventually the display will turn off if you go through a whole cook to the end. But I found that if you don't do that, the display can sometimes just stay on and doesn't seem to turn off, so didn't really like that. The presets, as I showed in the initial review, they can be a little flaky. They're a little flaky sometimes. Sometimes they don't work like you want them to. And sometimes they work like you want them to, sometimes not. It's just a little flaky as far as the presets working as you would want them to. As far, when I say they don't work, just to be clear, I'm saying that you'll hit a preset and the settings won't change. I'm not saying that you'll see a setting and it won't do what it's showing on the screen. It's going to do what it's showing on the screen. It's just you'll hit a preset and it won't change those settings. And so you'll still see on the screen what you thought it was going to change from. So just something to keep an eye on. Also, it has a good bit of bottom exhaust that I noticed. It didn't damage my counter or anything, but a good bit of bottom exhaust to be aware of. But still, if you've got a heat resistant counter, you'll be fine with that. The cooker has I think it's a shake or flip or shake reminder that lets you know halfway through a cook to flip or shake your food. And that reminder, you can't stop it. So that's a bit annoying that you can't stop that reminder. Also, the display changes between time and temp periodically. Every few seconds it changes between time and temp. That's a bit annoying. After I set the initial temperature, all I want to see is the time to see how much time is left. I don't need to keep flipping back every few seconds through a 10-minute cook to let me know the temperature that I know I set at the beginning. I don't need to continue to see that. If I want to, maybe I can hit a button or something to see that, but I don't need to continue to flip back and forth. It's just different from the way a lot of other cookers do it, and it's a bit annoying to see it continue to flip back between time and temp, especially if you're looking over to it to see the time left and it's showing the temp, and then you gotta sit there and wait for it to get to show you the time again. So, although in the initial review the two-sided cook seemed to show that the sides were even for temperature testing, when I put the temperature testing side 2 and I ran both sides together, it seemed to hold temp on side 2 just fine. I found when you're doing cooks, especially if you're doing cooks with different temperatures on both sides, side 2 comes out way weak. Okay, just that's my experience, way weak. So the two sides don't give a truly separate, even cook all the time on both sides as intended for your settings. And so that's something to be aware of there. There's limited space given it's a basket air fryer, but that's the design of the cooker. So, you know, I do a lot of oven work too, so having some space is something to consider. But full measurements were done in the initial review if you didn't see that. Generally speaking though, the heat level is good if you're just doing one side. If you're doing one side, it's great. Or if you're doing the max on both sides, it might be okay. But if you're doing like something lower on one side than the other side that's hotter, things get real, didn't turn out as I would have liked. We'll say that. It's not very loud for a basket air fryer. I did do a sound decibel check in the initial review, so you can check that out there if you want further details. The user interface though is easy to figure out as long as it works. All the presets work as they should. So there's not any real learning curve with this cooker, and it's an air fryer that's not trying to be a jack of all trades or trying to do a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's pretty straightforward. I didn't have any smoke issues with this cooker, so that was good. That was a plus. And so as far as the functions that I use, like I said, since it's a air fryer and you know you're just really setting your time and your temp, it does well for that. It does well as a single basket air fryer. The second basket, you know, might be, you know, a little iffy. If you're not going to use a second basket a lot, you know, then that's cool. And if you're cooking on both, like I said, if you're doing max temp on both sides, you might fare better than doing different temps. So just wanted to stress that. I will say that the cooker is easy to clean, so no issues there. It has you know, non-stick coating, and although non-stick coatings are convenient, there are health considerations with some of the coatings that are used in some of these cookers. I always say check out something like the documentary The Devil We Know to just be aware of what can happen with some of these things. I'm not saying that's the case with this one. I'm just saying it's something to be aware of, and for all the conveniences you get in this world, you also get some drawbacks. And so sometimes things that are a little less convenient for you may in some ways be better for you. Again, I'm not saying that is the case with this. I'm just saying it's something you should be aware of and learn about further, and then you make your own decisions. So I would caution you there on that. Now, I do want to compare with a couple other cookers, and I want to say that these comparisons are just some general observations, comparisons. I'm not trying to give you comparisons for everything out there, and if I don't mention the one that you're interested in, you will have to look at the reviews here on the channel to make your own decisions. There are reviews of over 80 different types of cookers here on the channel, all different types. Many are dual basket air fryers. So there's plenty of information for you to look at and to basically come to your own decision. But this Chefman's 2-basket versus the Ninja Foodi 10-quart 2-basket air fryer, which I showed you, is the baskets are very similar in size, even though this is a 9-quart. They're very, very close. And so the Ninja does win, and that's because it doesn't have the annoying quirks that I was dealing with this one. Even though the Ninja's dual basket air fryers do come in a little weaker when you're doing 2-basket cooking, still doesn't have the other quirks that I had to deal with the Chefman. And so the Ninja Foodi 10-quart 2-basket air fryer wins. The 8-quart is smaller, so you know it is smaller, so this one can hold more. The Chefman can hold more than that. Versus the Bella Pro Series 2-basket air fryer, basically Bella wins. There's no contest there. It cooks well on both sides and works decent. And there's a full review of that here on the channel as well. There's a full review of the Ninja Foodie two baskets, the 10 quart and the 8 quart, are reviewed here on the channel in full. Playlist here for both of them too. So that's my take on the Chefman 2-basket air fryer here. And so I do want to mention that nothing in this video is sponsored, nothing given to me, nothing in any of my videos sponsored, nothing in any of my videos given to me. I like to do it myself, and so I pay for them with my own money. No outside influences at all. I just like it that way. And so just tell you the real deal and keep it straight. So if you would like, in the video description there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as my cookbook, merch membership, donations. Also a link to the Amazon shop if you wanted to buy something, pay the same price, help the channel. Also, you can always check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. Again, that's superwaveovenrecipes.com. Written recipes there galore. Also a link to buy me a coffee if you want to donate that way. And so with all of that said, if you did like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with a friend, leave your comments, and you can hit that notification icon when you join as a subscribing to the channel. So hope that you do enjoy this and the other material here at the channel. And with all that said, good eating.